The rain had followed Daniel Harper all the way from the bus stop to the glass doors of Westbridge Tower. It clung to his coat and darkened the papers tucked under his arm. He hesitated before stepping inside, wiping his shoes on the mat like he might be turned away for something as small as mud. He did not belong in a building like this. The lobby smelled of polished stone and quiet confidence. People passed him with practiced speed, talking into headsets, carrying laptops worth more than his car. Daniel adjusted the strap of his worn bag and walked to the reception desk. "I am here to see Ms. Eleanor Wright," he said, keeping his voice steady. The receptionist looked him over, paused, then made a call. A moment later she gestured toward the elevators. "She is expecting you." Daniel doubted that very much. 2 weeks earlier, his life had been simple and hard. He worked nights repairing vending machines and spent his days raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Every decision was measured in school lunches and rent payments. He had not thought about power or ownership or billionaires. That changed the day Lily found a lost wallet at the playground. Inside were credit cards, a driver's license, and a folded piece of paper with a handwritten note. Lily had insisted they return it. Daniel had tracked down the address, a quiet brownstone not far from the park. When he rang the bell, a woman answered with sharp eyes and a distracted expression. "You found it," she said, taking the wallet and barely glancing at him. She pressed a card into his hand. "If you ever need work, call my office." Then she closed the door. Daniel had almost thrown the card away. Pride told him not to ask for favors. But Lily had needed new shoes, and the landlord had raised the rent again. So he called. Now he stood in an office that overlooked the city like it was a private map. Eleanor Wright sat behind a massive desk, her silver hair pulled back, her posture relaxed in the way of someone who never worried about falling. She smiled when she saw him, but there was amusement in it. "So you are the man from the park," she said. "What can I do for you, Mr. Harper?" Daniel took a breath. "I am here about Wright Logistics." She laughed. It was not cruel, just surprised. "That is my company." "I know," Daniel said. He stepped forward and placed the papers on her desk. "I am the new owner." The laughter grew louder, echoing off the walls. Eleanor leaned back in her chair, clearly enjoying the moment. "This is bold," she said. "I admire confidence, but this is absurd." Daniel did not respond. He simply turned the top page toward her. The laughter stopped. Eleanor leaned forward, her eyes scanning the document. The color drained from her face. The signature at the bottom was unmistakable. Her father's. Years ago, before the company went public, before lawyers and boards and power struggles, he had written a private contract. A clause that transferred majority ownership if a specific debt was repaid through an act of personal integrity, not money. It had been his way of testing the world, and Eleanor had always believed it was symbolic. A relic. "You returned his wallet," she whispered. "Years ago. Before he died." Daniel nodded. "He told me I did the right thing when it would have been easier not to. He said if I ever needed help, I should keep that paper safe." Silence filled the room. Eleanor stood slowly, as if the floor had shifted beneath her. "Do you have any idea what this means?" "I do not want your money," Daniel said quickly. "I do not want your life. I just want stability for my daughter. I want a job where I can come home before midnight. I want her to see me at dinner." Eleanor studied him, really studied him, perhaps for the first time. Not as a stranger, but as a man who had carried kindness without knowing its weight. "You could take everything," she said. "I will not," Daniel replied. "But I will not walk away either." The middle ground surprised them both. Weeks passed. News never broke. The board was never told. Instead, Eleanor restructured quietly. Daniel became a silent partner, then an advisor. He asked simple questions others had ignored. Why workers were exhausted. Why corners were cut. Why loyalty was treated like a resource instead of a gift. At home, Lily noticed the change first. Her father smiled more. He cooked dinner instead of reheating leftovers. He listened without checking the clock. One evening, Eleanor visited their modest apartment. She brought no entourage, no driver. Just a bottle of juice for Lily and an awkward smile. "I used to think power was proof I had earned my place," she said as they watched Lily draw on the floor. "Now I think it was borrowed all along." Daniel shrugged. "My dad used to say kindness is the only thing you own forever." Eleanor laughed softly. Not at him this time, but at herself. In the end, ownership did not change Daniel. It revealed him. And it changed Eleanor in ways no acquisition ever had. The city kept moving. Towers still gleamed. But somewhere between a playground and a signature, two lives had shifted, quietly and completely, because one man chose to do the right thing when no one was watching.